Time changes everything, and eventually, all that remains are a few objects that marked pivotal moments in British Columbia's history. Moments that rippled across Canada, shaping our present. The artifacts at Trethewey House are no different. They are voices from the past.
Hi, I'm Sara B. I'm the curator here at Heritage Abbotsford. I'm here to show off the Stickley set in the main bedroom of Trethewey House. It's, made in the early turn of the century kind of period. This style is very it's arts and crafts era, but it's not quite the same style as a lot of this, arts and crafts style furniture that you see out there. You see a lot of the mission style stuff, very square. This stuff is more French provincial. It's kind of the predecessor to that style that got really popular in the 40s. This set here was owned by the York family. They were one of the first settler families in Sumas Prairie. This set came to us from 3 different donors. It had been separated out. It was originally on their little farmhouse in the 1890s, and then they gave it to different family members, and it eventually came back to us, and it's reunited here. One of the cool things about it is the color. You don't see that very often, especially around this time. This is bright green. It's got a lot of nice little details like floral painting and details like the carved tops there. There's 3 different pieces. There's the bed set, which is actually one of the first standardized sets of mattresses that you could get. Before, you'd really just make the mattress to fit the bed. So this is when you could start buying machine-made box springs that were standard sizes. It has a dresser as well. And then it has the vanity set here with its own little stool and its own matching details. And it's, one of my favorite pieces here. It's just not something you see very often. There's also the fact that it was made by the Stickley brothers, which was a very, well-known company back then. But there were 2 Stickleys. So there was Gustav Stickley, who is much more famous, and this is more less artisanal, so to speak. It's more average, accessible to, a broader audience kind of furniture. And you can also find lots of old catalogs with, different types of furniture sets that are still in existence. So you can see, what people would have seen when they were ordering back in the day. Oh, it would have all been done in a factory. This was, they were still doing a lot of this stuff by hand, but it would have been in a factory setting. They would have had different workers doing different things. So it was in the era of mass production. So we're not talking about one craftsman putting the whole thing together himself. It was very much if you look up the Stickley brothers, they had a factory. I think it was in Ohio or Iowa, one of those, Cedar Rapids. And they would have been shipping their furniture, across North America. So another thing I really like that we have here at Trethewey House is this old cylinder record player made by the Thomas Edison Company. It's called the Amberola. It plays cylinder-shaped records instead of the flatter versions that most of us are used to. They really started production in the 1880s, so they were one of the first sort of sound preservation methods. But they didn't last very long, only until the late 1920s when the flat vinyl records replaced them. Really they would have begun as wax cylinders or even tinfoil in the very beginning. So wax cylinders, you could use them to record sound as well as play it back. So it was used even for dictation and stuff like that. But then they realized there was a commercial market for music as well. So they would have started making them into harder wax cylinders, which would have lasted a bit longer. Then celluloid, which is a plastic, kind of came onto the scene as this new material that they could make these long-lasting records with. But the shape is really the novel thing. And, the blue color especially is what distinguishes the plastic from the wax cylinders, which would have been brown.
From everyday objects to rare items that only a few could afford, these artifacts show how communities changed, adapted, and endured across time. With the recovery of more artifacts, we reveal lost fragments of our past and shed light on memories that might otherwise be long forgotten.